Hey, what is up, Declaration? Thank you guys so much for joining us today on this awesome Wednesday for Epilogue. If you're new, Epilogue, it's the best way I can describe it is it's just a time where we dive in a little bit deeper to Sunday's message. And so again, I have Pastor John with me, and we're going to be talking about
What's up?
week 2 of our new series, of our Advent series, because it is, of course, the Advent season, Christmas time.
Yeah.
And this week was last week was a busy week leading into Sunday.
And then the weekend.
It was but it was awesome. And we actually talked about it yesterday of just.
I'm still trying to recover.
Trying to rest up and, you know, we're all exhausted. But, man, it was such a good weekend, just, you know, starting Friday and then, ending with the baptism service on Sunday and just, you know, I know we talked about it, but, man, the worship and everything just on Sunday was like on a whole. Just different, man. It was,
and you know, I sat for a minute and just thinking about how to articulate what I was thinking about. I want it to sound right, but you know, there's still so many of our church family that are not able yet to come back to a physical service, and man, I was so sad that there were some people who missed out on what I think God did something so special.
Oh man, yeah.
Sunday. So I was really sad when I thought about some key families that I know would have wanted to be there. They couldn't be there. Some of them, you know, fighting illness potentially, you know, and just all the things. And so, but yeah, it was a really, really, I think, special Sunday, man. God did something so unique, I think, in Sunday in our time of worship. And you know, my prayer is that level of expectation would just kind of flourish. It would just kind of be who we are and how we enter in and approach the Lord, because we believe that He can and does things like He did last Sunday.
Like it's not Sunday is just a Sunday. There was nothing really, outside of the craziness of what that weekend was, there was nothing different that we did going into Sunday. But
not at all. In fact, I was kind of frustrated because I didn't get the time of prayer that I usually get on Sunday morning in the house prior to, and there were so many things happening, but nevertheless, it was an incredible Sunday, and then, you know, following up an incredible weekend. And you're right, we kind of said that we wanted to talk a little bit about the weekend. We had Freedom Weekend.
We had Freedom Weekend, which started Friday night.
Friday and Saturday, which is why my voice is still kind of not 100%.
He led worship there. So.
Yeah, I hadn't done that in a while. I figured out that's a different muscle set, you know, vocally, and so. Yeah, vocally I'm a little fatigued, but which told me that I really need to do that more.
Well, you know, normally you kick back in a lot during the summer for 220.
Right, I try.
And this year,
so it's been a minute. Anyway,
a hot minute. Yeah.
It was incredible. The weekend was awesome, and for those who may not know what Freedom Weekend is, it's kind of the culmination of a certain small groups that are going through a curriculum called Freedom, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, we've been talking around here about, we feel like everyone in the church would benefit from going through the Freedom small group and then doing a Freedom Weekend. In fact, the way we launched it at church is this is really the first semester that we've opened the door for anybody, because the way we actually started it was a couple of semesters ago. We began to ask staff and you know, staff families and our elders and elder wives to go through Freedom first, you know, to kind of lead the way there. And then from there, kind of built a leadership team that would help launch it to the whole church. And so we're just now to a point where this is the first semester that we could open the door and really just begin to say, hey, if you're interested in this, come on. We had three Freedom groups that filtered into this weekend, and about 30 people from our church that went through it. And, you know, very soon, hopefully, we can get some great stories from people. I had someone sitting in my office today that really cool testimony just from, you know, her perspective of what God did just in her life through the Freedom, not only the conference, but also
just the whole semester.
Yeah, it was just really, really powerful. I mean, we're talking life-changing stuff, paradigm-shifting, you know, putting you on path of purpose type stuff where, and the best way to describe it is just kind of like you're peeling back throughout that whole semester. You're just kind of peeling back layers of an onion. And Did I say that right?
You did.
I never know if I say that word right. It's such an odd word. And I got some people that make fun of me for some of the ways I say some things. But nevertheless, it is. It's like peeling back these layers. And what we don't realize is even, gosh, from adolescence, we kind of build some definitions of ourselves and who we are based upon past experiences, some good and bad. And that can lead us into places where we just kind of, our life default is really driven by things that really are not they're not of the Lord, like Jesus died to take these burdens away from us, but we still carry them.
And a lot of them we don't even think about.
Some of them are, it's like we've so suppressed some of those things or whatever, like we don't even think about it anymore. In fact, that's one of the things that the person sitting in my office talked about, is just the fact that they didn't feel like that they had an issue with this one thing that we discussed throughout the conference, but then all of a sudden one word use
and it just
shook it and
brought
she was like
to the surface.
She was like, wait a minute, no, I really do. And so, like, just from her perspective of feeling like the Lord just really set her free from something that was really a root that she didn't even know was there. And now talking about how, man, just after the aftermath of that is how she's feeling now because of her time with the Lord throughout the semester, as well as I think the exclamation point of that weekend. So that weekend was undeniably life-changing for many people, but also I think for our church. Because it was the first one we were able to host.
Which was really cool, too.
So awesome. We got to do it in the office, in the warehouse.
The team did a great job just setting it up.
Oh, yeah, and I'll just say our leadership team for Freedom was incredible. I know Ryan and Sarah Amato, shout out everybody. They have a big hand in leadership of that, of course, under small groups, and Kelly, and I know Shannon with Dream Team had some things to do with that, and one of our elder families, Drew and Julia Cronenberger, had some leadership in that. It was just really, really awesome.
Yeah, and it was cool. I mean, I'd even say, I didn't participate in the conference, but I was here, right?
Yeah.
And just sitting in the back, like from the beginning of Friday to the end of Saturday, I could even see just a huge shift in the people and the freedom that, man, and just the way that they worshiped, of just, kind of feeling uptight at the beginning to where, our last session, it was just like,
dude, it was unhinged.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Well, and here's the thing too. Like I would recommend it, and I'm hoping that once we launch into the next season of small groups this next semester, we'll start talking about them pretty soon. I'm sure it'll launch in January at some point. But I'm hoping that we'll see many, many, many more people choose to be a part of a Freedom small group, because it will be it'll be a foundation that'll, of what is to come for a lot of people. It's going to change your family. It's going to change the way you operate as husband and wife. It's going to change the way you operate as a parent. It's going to change the way you operate in life, the way you view all of life. I think it's going to change the way you probably operate in your work ethic, your job, all those things, because all of a sudden, I believe, Jesus becomes very real, applying the cross and the resurrection to things that you may not necessarily think that needed it, or that you didn't think was something that you might have struggled with or whatever. But just the Bible study, the curriculum, and then the process of the weekend, or the whatever you want to call it, weekend or retreat or conference or whatever. I think that it, God has a way, or Holy Spirit has a way of bringing things to light, that. And man, again, just like the person in my office was talking, I don't want to but I don't wanna, say I don't want to disrespect their privacy or anything, but like she would say, if we were interviewing her, she would probably tell you, based upon what I heard her say, is everything is different today.
Yeah.
Everything.
That's awesome.
Everything. And so, of course, the smile shows everything. It radiates all of it. So I would encourage everybody, honestly, man, think about that as one of those small group options for you, because it will be a dynamic game changer.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
Of course, then we go into Christmas Bash.
I know, it was a busy weekend.
It was.
And I know that, so even Saturday, while we were at the conference, then we had a whole other team at the school preparing for that at 7 o'clock in the morning is when they got
40 something plus of us here at the warehouse doing the conference. Another 20 to 30 people on the grounds at Snyder and setting up Christmas Bash all day from 7 a.m. I mean, relentless. But I like that. You know, I like this idea. I mean, not that everybody was working so hard, but I like the thought process of our church being passionate and relentless, because we know that there's great purpose in what it is that God has called us to do, especially through outreach events like Christmas Bash. And man, we saw so many families that were ministered to that night. If you weren't able to be at church on Sunday to hear testimony, and if you weren't able to be at Christmas Bash, it was awesome in so many ways. Watching that events team, who a big shout out to them.
Yeah, for real.
You know, Caroline Roberts leads that team, and she does such a great job. And everyone on that team, honestly, it's a team packed with leaders as it is, and they did such a great job in the last 2.5 weeks of transforming months of plans to adapt to our COVID reality of numbers raising, you know, being on the rise, and us just, you know,
wanting to be respectful.
Yeah, man, really, just wanting to do everything that we can do to, you know, communicate to our community that we're not tone deaf to reality, while at the same time, you know, we're not canceling things, because don't find much help in that either at this point. But we're giving our community an opportunity to still participate in something for their family, while hopefully us doing everything we can to keep everybody as safe and healthy as possible. I mean, it's the holiday season. The last thing we want is people getting sick right before Christmas. And so watching that app, you know, them adapt the way they did was so incredible. And just watching once it began, you know, I remember when the gate opened up at 5 and cars started coming in.
Already a line waiting.
There was a line waiting, and just, you know, watching our team just be warm and warm, even though it was like, I don't know, 40 degrees.
Yeah,
it was not
warm.
It was not warm outside. But
one of my favorite was actually was Chelsea, if you got to see her.
Oh, Chelsea Skywalker.
Jedi out there.
Yeah, man. We didn't know that Chelsea Pepper had those Jedi skills, but man, she was directing traffic with that flashlight thing, and looked like she was a Jedi out there. It was awesome. And so, yeah, I mean, just watching our team love people, and I mean, just pour out. You know, they were just pouring out nonstop, and did it for 3 straight hours, ending with the nativity story, and man, loved that. Watching how that kind of ended as people drove through and got to read the different scriptures leading up to the nativity, and then just messages of hope as they leave. Yeah. And then the last thing was the church, and again, I just can't brag on the church enough. Through your generosity, we were able to provide 120 meals, holiday meals for families that may be in need, and it's really cool. Some of the things, the stories that came out of that, people just asking for prayer, man, that was really powerful. Yeah. And then also knowing that through Flood of Love, which most people think is, when they hear Flood of Love, they may think of Hurricane Harvey, but we've actually kind of reignited Flood of Love as an outreach team from our serve team. In fact, maybe you've been hearing different language lately. We're kind of moving to this phrase of serve team instead of just dream team, because honestly, I feel like the Lord began to convict me just about just the heart of our church over this last season. Through all the messaging, you've probably heard it, but you just haven't heard the phrase change. But now we've started to kind of change that phrase. But that you know, that's really who Jesus calls us to be as servants. And not that they weren't serving before. Yeah. But I think language matters, and so why not just use the right?
Call it what it is.
Call it what it is, right? And so, man, but just watching all that play out, and our ability to serve our community in that way. And then Flood of Love team now, this new outreach team, is also assembling 60 more of those holiday meal packs with a $10 HEB gift card for some sort of meat of choice for the holidays, and that will go to everybody that's on that give wall. Yeah. So all 100
that's
and what was it? 100
was it 60 or 180?
I can't. All these numbers, man. Yeah, I think it was like 160 kids, but I do know that we just added 12 more. That's right. Kids, I think.
Yesterday or
today.
Because
Sunday every ornament
was gone
from the give wall, which meant all the kids were taken care of,
which is awesome.
Assuming everybody brings that stuff back. Come on, y'all. Okay, but and then 12 more, which of course, when the community calls you and says, "Would you then we say yes. You know, we say yes.
Yeah.
You know, Jesus gave his best yes.
And I think that's one of the cool things too about the Give Wall that I like is that the schools a lot of time reach out to us with families and with kids in need.
Yeah.
And it gives us an opportunity to, you know, be that light for a family, but also to the school, you know, the whole school. And
yeah, I think so.
It's pretty incredible.
And you know, it's not like no one's getting a trophy for that. And we're not looking for that. And people may never know, and that's completely okay. You know, but I love the fact that as a church, that's where our heart is. We want to be serving and ministering to people, especially in their moment of need. Yeah. And right now there's a lot of need. There's just a lot of need. And
well, I mean, if we, you know, want to talk about your sermon at all.
I guess right? We could do that since that's what this is about.
The sermon, you know, this week, of course, was called Looking for Love. And this whole series is based, of course, the series is called Looking For, because we all know that after this year, as crazy as it's been, everybody's looking for something.
Well, so week one, looking for hope, and made a lot of sense, you know, and honestly, if you're paying attention and you kind of know as you walk through Advent, week one, you talk about hope, at least in this year. Week two, we talk about love. This next one, we talk about joy. That's what's coming, a little preview. But so, yeah, we talked about love and looked at a few scriptures, referenced a few fun 80s songs. But, you know, 1 John 4, that this is how God showed his love among us, that he sent his one and only son into the world that we may live through him. There's a lot of context to some of these passages that we didn't really have a lot of time to get to, because the other thing that we got to do on Sunday was 15 baptisms. Come on.
Which is awesome.
It was incredible.
15.
It was so much fun. And, but, you know, a lot of the text that we used on Sunday, if you were to look at the context of the whole, it was really kind of a, okay, so this is what God did, now you do this, you know? So it's like we should imitate, we should do the same. And that's what I love so much about the weekend, the way it came together, is because that's what we were seeing. We were seeing the church in action, doing the things that the church was called to do, and being who the church is called to be. And right now, and man, in the climate that we've been in, I think that's so important. I think it's imperative that we begin to, you know, well, we should be doing it all the time, but especially now that we stop, you know, whatever has been going on social media, whatever, stop that messaging and start putting out a message with action, of showing people the truth of the gospel in action. And that's what I think the whole weekend was about.
I think so.
And, you know, because when we started into this series, of course, we knew it was Advent, but hope was such an easy way to start with, not just because it was scripted that way for weeks of Advent, and this is the Hope Candle week if you're doing that at home. But, you know, gosh, when you go into Walmart, and I showed that picture, if you remember.
From September.
Yeah, it's like mid-September and Christmas trees are out. And then before Halloween, you start driving around, you see people got Christmas lights on their house. People are looking for something, you know, whether it's hope or whether it's, man, they're looking for
joy.
Joy, or something that feels normal, something that feels like something that they can look forward to, right? And I think this year more than others, as much as we like to play and joke around, no, you can't sing Christmas songs yet, and it's, you know, whatever. I just think that people were, our posture, our heart, everything about us is so ready to have something to look forward to. And so Christmas makes, I mean, what a cool word picture.
Yeah.
If you think about, you know, where we started in Isaiah 7, 8, and 9, and how some 700 years before Jesus, Isaiah is prophesying something that everybody should be looking forward to,
for this,
you know, which is Jesus. And then here we are now. We haven't even gotten to the text that kind of spurred the creativity of looking for, which is when you start to think about the wise men, you know, going on this search. And so, pretty cool stuff, I'd say, you know.
It's exciting, man. I think, I mean, of course, being Advent time, this is, of course, what we were going to talk about. But, man, this is, the way that this year has gone, I just feel like this weekend was such a weekend just full of, I mean, exactly what this is. Like, it was full of just worship and love. Like, watching people serve at Christmas Bash was incredible. And just even talking, you know, as cars would drive by, I was at the end. The last part, I was at the end where we were giving away the meals, and just the appreciation that people had, and how many people came and were, because we weren't just giving them meals, but if you know of somebody that needs a meal, and they would be like, yeah, listing off, like, we know these people, or like we have all these people in mind that we could give something to. And, and
then you include them in the process, right?
Yeah.
So they get to be an agent of hope by bringing that meal to that family that God put on their, and they may not even know that God's put them on their heart.
Yeah.
But he did. And so then they're taking, so that, there's so much that I love about what happened through that whole process.
Yeah, it was
so
awesome.
Cool.
And then, of course, just knowing on the backside of things that the team they did it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's what's mind-blowing.
Yeah, Pastor Aaron made a joke that
so
I'll probably
they have no excuse now.
That's what, whenever we got finished on Saturday putting everything up, Pastor Aaron was talking to Caroline and said, well, another 50 weeks and we can start planning again.
Right, exactly. What did she say?
She did not like that. She was not for that idea.
I love it, man. Yeah.
But, man, yeah, it was an exciting weekend.
It was.
Of course, my wife being one of them that got baptized was pretty incredible. She went through Freedom Weekend, so it was a good weekend at the Spengler household for sure.
That's cool, man.
Lots of freedom, and then just talking through what had happened, and man, it was a good weekend.
So one of the texts from Sunday was 1 John 4:16, and so we know and rely on the love God has for us, and then 3 words that basically were the 3 that if no one heard anything in that 18-minute sermon, which by the way it was 18 minutes, just so everybody knows, I was very proud of myself.
I was proud of you.
Anyway, the 3 words that mattered the most because of our theme looking for was God is love. God is love, and whoever lives in love lives in God and God in them. And so, hopefully people walked away from Sunday and they heard the resounding message of, man, if you're looking for love, it's only going to be found in
everything
God.
Stems right there.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's what the last thing, and then we'll go ahead and be done. But when you were talking about the lyrics from "Oh Holy Night,"
oh yeah,
and the soul felt its worth, and just man, only Jesus can do that, right?
That's right.
Only Jesus can bring that, and God is love, and Jesus is the hope, the only hope that we really have, and
so that's why we do the things we do. And what's so cool about it is, it's only, what is today, December 9th, I think?
Yes.
It's only the 9th, so we still have some time to go this month, and we're only midway through. We did the give wall. A lot of people grabbed an ornament representing a child that God had laid on their heart to help that child have a good Christmas, and, of course, there was some wish list on those ornaments, but what's fun is, like, starting this Sunday, especially this Sunday, is when people begin to bring all that stuff to the church. And so and then that team kicks into gear again, and they start to get those gifts out to these families. Get them all
together and ready.
What a cool thing, man, that we get to be a part of. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm looking forward to that. And then obviously Christmas Eve is coming up, and we've got 2 service options, 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock. And I sure hope if people feel like that they can and they feel good about it, man, I'd love for people to be a part of that, bring the whole family, come back to church, and we're going to do our part to try to make it as safe and friendly as possible for everybody. And so it's just a really cool time of the year right now, man, coming off of a very strange,
very short and long year.
Short and long year all at the same time. Yeah. It's I love where we're at right now as a church, and I love the heart and the energy, and man, just where I think people's minds are at. It just feels like kind of like a revival kind of taking place right now, and man, I hope that we keep that going. So,
yeah, man, that's awesome. Well, hey guys, thank you again for joining us, man. We've got man, what a good weekend, and like Pastor John said, man, it's just starting, really.
Yeah.
We're not even to the middle of December yet. And so, man, if you need anything, if you have any prayer requests, or if you have any testimonies too, I know we did a lot this weekend. So if you have just some testimonies of what God's doing, reach out to us at amen@declaration.org. We'd love to hear that. We'd love to share that story and just enjoy it with you, and be praying for you guys. So thank you again for joining us. We love you, and we are praying for you guys, and we'll see you guys on Sunday.